Thank you so much. Wednesday? Wednesday?
Yeah, I emailed it down. Bids are coming. I'm just early, so I can. You ready?
Okay, if you join me in the pledge to the flag, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. If you wish to sign in and have not done so, now would be an opportune time. It's not mandatory, but it is helpful to make sure we get the accurate names into the minutes. I see we're all here except Mr. Thomas. I believe he is ill. So at this point, I'll accept any agenda for modifications at this point.
I think we're just gonna move the discussion under building inspector fees until the next one because of the potential improvements.
Okay. Got it. Anything else at this point, guys? People? Great. Okay, we'll go on then. At this point, I'll accept the motion to approve April 6th council meeting minutes.
I'll motion that we approve the April 6 minutes.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Public comments from the audience. At this point, you'll have 3 minutes. If you wish to speak, it will not be a dialogue. It will be a monologue on your part. We will not interrupt you. You get 3 minutes. I will warn you at 2 minutes and 45 seconds. As long as you keep it civil and as long as you keep it civil, you've got as much time as you need. Has anybody got anything? We've got a guy in the front row that is, you got to stand up there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just well, there's no microphone.
Yeah, you don't need one.
I was just gonna tell the city that I put some orange behind the welcome to city Tekoa sign.
Yeah.
Some old stuff I had. I glued it up there. So if I'm in trouble, let me know.
It looks awesome.
It looks pretty good. It's kind of darker than I thought it would be.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you're about 20 seconds short. So, yeah.
Oh,
You got to get the hang of this a little bit.
yeah, I know.
Okay, we've got one in the back of the audience, please. You introduce yourself, that would help us too. Okay.
I'm Amy Zarnova. I'm just here to let the council know that in regards to the vote on the RV on Crosby, that the enforcement has been inconsistent. It went from being planned to be everyday fines to every other day to weekly. And so I just wanted to let you guys know that that's what's been happening. The situation has greatly escalated, but I won't waste your time with the details of that. I would just like to ask that, the council be aware of that and that, everybody work together to enforce this.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Anybody else have any comments at this point? Yes, ma'am.
I need to respond to Amy's comments because there is no other thing except for her wanting to sell her house. So she doesn't like us living next to her. I had come in a couple months ago. My husband had total knee replacement. And I tried to get to a council meeting, but I had norovirus and I'm sure nobody wanted it. But I went to the doctor and him and I are both disabled, like terribly disabled. So we applied and have been trying for months to get an apartment, finally got one. I come into the office and spoke to Kinda, and I think she thought I said April 12th, but it was May 12th. It's actually going to be May 17th to May 20th now when I can get this apartment. And so I was just hoping I have this letter too.
Good, thank you.
if you could just put up with me for one more month, and then we're gonna put the property up for sale.
Okay, since this is not a dialogue, okay,
Yeah.
we'll talk later, okay?
Okay.
Anybody else have anything at this point? Okay, looks like we're gonna roll from here. At this point, we'll go into community group updates. Dwayne, you got anything for your community group? No, okay. All right, we'll proceed. Unfinished business. Donovan, you're up. Fire department, fire district annexation. You got 3 minutes.
I will take my 3 minutes.
And Dwayne's, and
Yes.
you can have mine too.
So I think everybody has everything in the packet. I did, Bill Tensfield, I asked him to come from Whitman County Emergency Management, and then Ray Lee from the assessors. That way, if there is questions, because I know there was a couple questions last time that I couldn't give a definitive answer when we're talking some of the dollars and stuff like that. And then Steve, he's here from our commissioner side, and Kathy's from our commissioner. She's our new secretary. And that way we just show that we're united in this process. So I don't really, I guess if there's more questions, if not, I guess, I don't know what I asked. I guess I'd ask for it to be the action items for the council.
Council, do you guys have any questions at this point?
Donovan, I'm looking at the proposition number 1 here, and it says that city residents would be subject to district tax levy and qualify to vote in the district. Then does that eliminate the need for us to budget funds every year?
Correct.
So,
That's the way I understand it, yes.
okay.
And could you go through the process? So if we approve this, then it goes to a vote.
So it's a multi-step process. So if you approve tonight, my District 1 commissioners, we have a meeting tomorrow night, which after talking to the attorney, the city has to vote yes first, and then the commissioners vote yes. And as soon as that happens, we take the verbiage down to the county to put on the ballot. I don't even know where it goes at the county, but it goes to the county.
So I guess my only question is, if it's the only thing that would be on the August ballot, that seems like, and we share the cost of that with, is the city paid for, because it's pretty expensive to put things on the ballot. I would feel better about putting it on the November ballot with other items that are likely to be on there. I know you mentioned that, fire season is, it's gonna be on people's mind no matter what. We need help year round. I don't wanna pressure people just because there's a lot of wildfires and stuff. Okay, we gotta do this, it'll be better. I mean, we do it because it's better any time of the year. So that would be my only concern, is I just would like to understand what the cost would be to the city to do it in August versus the November ballot.
We stumped him again.
Sorry, I brought that up last time, so.
It's the primary ballot, so I don't know how many issues, but, there'll be more than, should be more than just this.
And I don't think we have
I don't know
anything,
if
do we
there's
have
more
anything else?
No, that's the way I understood it when I was talking. There's still gonna be an election in August no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether fire's on it or not. And when I was talking to Brian, he said it ranges from county, but it's $1,000 to $1,200 is typically what he's found. Is that?
It was $1,100 when we did it for November.
And does that include everything that had to go on the ballot on the November one?
I can't tell you.
Maybe we'll let Ray
Yes,
Lee
ma'am.
from the assessor.
I am the assessor,
Okay.
but I have enough experience with what's going on with elections to give you a little insight. One of the big concerns you're gonna face is getting your resolution in timely. That's due May 1st for this next election, so that's kind of a stickler. There's also less on this next election, so your costs can be substantially more. And if you wait for the general, substantially less because you're sharing that ballot. And you get a little more time because that deadline is until August. But if you're going in the next election, May 1st is the deadline for that paperwork to be all written and into elections. Okay,
That pretty well states it.
And we knew the May 1st.
yes.
And that's they have the resolutions, both the city and the county does, so.
And did I remember correctly that there was a certain percentage of the city that has to agree to it in order for it to pass?
It's
Or is it just,
a vote of the people, it has to hit 50, it's 50%.
So not a super
Not
majority.
60, it's 50.
It's a simple majority.
simple
Simple.
majority?
If it's simple
A simple majority of
60%.
everybody that's registered in the city?
City
Or
and
just
the county. So they both, the city has to vote yes,
Right,
and the county has to
right, I
vote
understood
yes.
that, but I'm just saying for the city, we had to get 50% of the total people or just the total votes?
I think what he's
Yes and
asking
no.
is who all will get the ballot? Is that what you're asking?
Well, no, I'm just asking if we have to get 50% of the population or just 50% of the votes?
50%.
Yeah,
I'm
we
pretty
have to
sure-
vote.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure an annexation only requires 50% approval of the voter turnout, where a supermajority requires 60% approval of 40% turnout or better, so.
Okay.
That's-
Well, I was just wondering if we had to be
Elections.
at a population, then we need to do it in November when more people would be voting than in August, so.
Donovan, if we postpone instead of August, do it in November, what are some of the effects that has, good or bad, or?
So, and I'm gonna go back, because I'm gonna refer to what, I'm gonna guess what the attorney, what he said. He likes the August one. He said, even if there's not, because in that, he used almost the same terminology. He said, even if typically there's not as many people that vote in the August. And he said, that's across the board. He said, the people that vote are the people that typically always vote, and those are the people
That are in favor.
that would be in favor. When you have, and it's kind of like anything else, all of a sudden you have, 2,000 people voting, it changes your dynamic because there's some, it's up to people. Some people vote no on every single thing. It doesn't matter what it is.
So is
So-
the objection going to be because there'll be an increase to people's taxes?
No,
Okay.
no, I mean, it's gonna be, I think the people who vote no are gonna vote no for every single thing. It doesn't matter if it's street levy or anything. I mean,
But are you gonna be able to get it done by May 1st?
that's, everything that I need is in front of you, and it literally, I take it down or Kinda mails it, and it's dropped off and it's done.
I'd hand deliver.
No, I mean, and that's what, because all the environmental impact is on there, the resolution, the verbiage for the, what goes on the ballot, I don't know what the terminology is on that. So, yeah, it definitely I feel like we can do it.
I personally was ready to make a motion to approve this. The only objection I have is putting it on the August ballot. I'm concerned about what the cost would be to the city. I think it should be on the general election, but that's just me.
Really, is that substantial difference or is it $500 difference or
I can't
5,000
tell
to
you,
1,000?
I can't tell you honestly. I haven't seen what the billing is for elections. Branches of the government don't talk all that often, except Bill McCollum. It could be, but it is also 2 opportunities to go on the ballot. So if you were to go
The first one.
and be really close to passing it, you might have the opportunity to communicate with your,
Run again.
So how's the rest of the fire department? Do you wanna get for now, or you wanna wait till November? Any arguments, or? Anybody out there got any opinions?
What did you say, Dwayne?
Well, I don't think few $100 between August and November should stall the entire thing. I also agree with the attorney who said that you probably have, I'm gonna call it a more informed voting public in August than you do in November. As he said, we all know the park board fails because people don't think we should have a pool. Stephen's getting different equipment. Well, there goes street levy. Everything is about taxes. So I like August. I don't see any reason to let a couple $100, $500, whatever it is. I don't see why that should slow us down. If you as a group are ready to go, Steve's there as a commissioner, you got the chief, assistant chief, we're here, we're ready to move on.
Donovan, I appreciate that. I'm like Dwayne, I'm reluctant to change the formula. Everybody's talked about approving it now and running it in August. There might be some increased costs, but this is a pretty important vote, pretty important aspect, has a lot of benefits. Maybe you could repeat in a brief way what the benefits are.
So, and if I miss some, Bill, you're gonna have to help me, but, so one, probably from the biggest stance from the city aspect, they are out of the fire protection service other than hydrants. There's no more budget. There's no more me coming to talk to Kinda, anything like that. The other that we talked about a little bit, and just so we talked about mutual aid agreements that we have, and the city of Tekoa has 0 mutual aid agreements. We all have them with the county, and part of the county is the entire county, and that was a thing that Bill pushed through several years ago. I guess the other thing, and that's probably a huge thing, is we talked about it in the past too. There's an old city truck that is no longer your burden. That's the responsibility of county to make sure that we have proper apparatus for city as well as county.
But that truck still belongs to the city and we'd have to get rid of it.
You would transfer ownership.
Oh, so you want it?
So, but it's gonna be all assets, and that one thing, and that's where it'd be all assets of Tekoa Fire are now transferred to Whitman County District 1, including that.
Oh, okay. I knew all the equipment and everything else would, but I just didn't think the truck would.
Yeah, everything.
Same as the turnout.
Everything, yeah. Hose, that kind of thing. I know from before even, talking this goes back several years. I know like the state auditor, they didn't like having basically 2 departments. And that was something that goes back several years. They said, why do you guys do this? I think the other thing is, and I think that'd be a benefit to both the city and the county. There is 0 doubt in my mind that we're double paying on things. It might be on a truck, it might be on building. You just start, you want to make sure, especially on insurance, that's more where I'm talking about, double pay on everything else you wouldn't do. I think it'd be very clean.
Now, does the land stay city or does that go to the county as well?
That would go to the county. Okay. All assets.
Top and bottom, okay.
My concern is I think we need to do this fairly rapidly for a couple of reasons. Number one, on certain occasions, we've been notorious for kicking the can down the road. And if it's a $500 or $600 difference, that's not worth saving $500 to kick the can down the road and come filing for November. Well, let's do it next spring and keep pushing this thing off. I think we need to approve this thing tonight and let's move it forward. And let's get the city and the county joined as one department and let them work together. I realize we have no mutual aid agreement with anybody. Out of the goodness of their heart, they're gonna respond, but suppose District 1 has a bad hair day and we got a fire in town, and they go, have fun, we're done. Is it worth the chance?
So Mike, I totally agree with you on everything, and I certainly hope I'm wrong on this, but I really feel like, and maybe Kendra can pull this up, I don't know if you can at this point or not, but I really feel like last year we had $20,000 budgeted for elections. So I don't know if that was because we had a number of people running, but I remember in the prior, talking about that and talking to the school about what it costs to put things on the ballot. Now, I don't know if that was because we had several positions open and that's why it cost $20,000. So my only concern is that it's more than $500 or $600. So if it really would cost that much twice, that would be my only concern. Otherwise, I think yes, this is something we definitely need to
In
do.
August, I don't see, we're not gonna put a bunch of stuff on. I think we need to move forward tonight.
Well, that's
I
the
would
thing,
make
is
a
if we
motion
don't
to-
have other things on there, it costs more.
I would make a motion to the council to approve Proposition 1.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Donovan, one quick question. If we figure out this thing is not good for us, can we reverse the process eventually? 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road?
Yeah.
I don't know how you.
Well, no, I mean, I understand, I don't think he's gonna wanna do it, but once it's done, it's done.
I would say,
Yeah.
in my opinion, it would be yes. Would that be your opinion, Bill?
If you don't have,
So, because there's no way to recoup the
You could
assets.
the city would start their own fire department. We wouldn't do a shared, we wouldn't do a shared.
But we wouldn't have any control over that.
Okay.
The city could start their own department. Have their own,
I
they
get
could
it,
have
I
their own
just
building and
a
all those
curious
things.
question.
Yeah.
But no, it's not like, this is a lifetime deal. I mean,
Yeah.
so then this isn't working, all right, then we form our own department.
We could go Ukraine and take over the fire department. Okay, we've got a motion on the floor, any more discussion? Then move to second that we approve the proposal from the fire department to combine districts.
right, the clerk had a comment.
Well, I was gonna say,
Yes.
we also need to approve the ordinance that I gave you.
We gotta do one at a time. though.
No, I know, I just,
We'll make sure we don't put that cart much further, okay. Okay, any more discussion at this point? We're gonna pull this has got a little bit of importance going on here, so we'll start here, Pete.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
And I'm gonna say no, only because
Okay.
I have a right to state and have in the minutes why I wanted to say no, and only because I would like to have had better numbers in front of me as to what it was gonna cost to run it in August. Otherwise, I would have been in favor of it.
Oops, okay. Okay, motion passes 5-1. We got a ordinance we need to pass.
911.
I would make a motion for the city ordinance 911
There we go.
to be approved in conjunction with Proposition 1.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Ready to go and vote on it.
Huh?
Approval vote.
Yeah, we're gonna pull this one again too, okay? All those, Pete?
Yes.
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 No, but the same reason.
Motion passes 5-1. Okay, great. Anything else we gotta slam around today on this? Is that it, Donovan?
so those are only two things I have to get to you, right?
That's the only thing, and then, so the attorney said two different, he said some people want, some councils wanna wait, other ones wanna do everything at the same time. If it passes, August, whatever the date is, August 20th, when I come back, and at that point, you'd have two options. One option is, he said some people wanna make the motion now, if it passes, to transfer assets, and then the other one is for January 2026. Seven, thank you, 2027. It would still stay the status quo, and whether or not the city would just want to write a check to the county for the budget amount, and then he said that's typically what they do. You know, like the $20,000 is the budget. They just write a check to the county, and it basically not fast track, it just makes it so it's clean.
No, that's for 2026, correct?
27.
Yeah, we're gonna pay it on them, but it's my understanding we're gonna start paying taxes through the fire district. So are you telling us now we also have to budget dollars? That's my question.
No. So the taxing, so the lines of fire district are made, I want to say he said August 15th. The ballot comes out prior to that. So for the 27 year, there is no tax change whatsoever. In 28, that's when all of a sudden Tekoa will no longer collect tax from the county as far as the fire, and the district would not be charging the city anything else. So it's that 1 year just because of the fire district boundaries, or fire district boundaries. That's what that was the verbiage he used. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Don, is it cleaner if we vote to transfer the assets now, so that when we vote it in August, that the assets are transferred immediately? Is that the simplest, cleanest way? Or is the city come out better on that, or is it the same?
It would work out the same no matter what.
Is there a reason to postpone the asset transfer?
Not really, no.
Your choice.
Yeah.
What's everybody else doing? I mean, is there such a thing?
He said most of everybody, the ones that he dealt with a lot, he said they just do everything at one meeting, and that way it's just, and if it fails, everything just reverts. I mean, it's not it's all pending on the election, and that way it doesn't have to, re-jog everybody's memories and me included.
Okay, what's the council want to do?
So, can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah.
So is that something we're supposed to have in our packet?
No,
We're just gonna make.
that's just, he said it's just a standalone, and it's just like
It's a
one
motion, we don't have
set.
to do a resolution or anything?
That's what I was.
You'll be all right with that, or?
Donovan, if she finds out that it needs to be put in different language or something, could we vote again the
Yes,
next meeting
100%,
to do
yeah.
it? So
Yeah.
we can say vote on the intent to do it tonight, and then if there's some other.
We should have a list of assets, so you make sure everybody's on the same
Everybody.
page.
Why don't we do that?
Yeah, good point.
Yep. And then I'll bring a list to the next meeting.
We like seeing you around here.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go on from there, all right?
Thank you, Donovan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, fire department.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Wow, that's great.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a quick comment?
Yes, yep, you, stand over there. Yes, sir.
Bill Tinsfeld, Whitney County Emergency Manager. I was also the fire chief in Rosalia when we did the same thing. And it made it so much easier on the chief to have one department. It's a big lift off the city insurance wise, liability wise. And congratulations, Sam.
We've only been talking about this for about 8 years. Right?
Yeah.
Longer than that.
It's been a long time.
Pizza's free for the next month. Well, the other thing I really think it does is, after a while, we're gonna be able to budget, we're gonna be equipment. And these trucks are $200,000-$300,000, so we'll know, hey, we'll have enough money 3 years down the road to purchase this piece of equipment. And we're gonna have to doctor the rest and tell them. But that really, it makes it a lot clearer, a lot easier to make those types of decisions when we know exactly what pot is coming from.
Long overdue.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Right, Bill. Good seeing you.
That's great.
Pay $700.
We did, city.
The city.
So then, okay.
Well, that like.
No, the hydrants are ours.
Right.
No, the fire department pays us.
Yeah, that's what.
Right, yes. Yes.
County gonna pay us then? Yeah.
guess I'll have to go send them a bill, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be-
I didn't want, what about water and sewer then? The county's gonna have to pay the water and sewer for
I'll
the
pay
bill.
for their building.
Yeah, so actually you get your money back over a period of time.
It's gonna be a while, but yes. Okay, at this point, we'll go to B, RV on Crosby Street. I think it's important.
Yeah.
I know. Business. I'm sorry. It's about something, yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
Important, right. Okay, I think it's important. I think I got some information that's relevant that we need to know. Had a couple conversations with the code enforcement officer. Been trying to get a hold of our city attorney to find out whether he's gonna be here or not.
I guess he's in overseas.
Well, no, our city attorney is in Israel. Stephen Bishop was not able, we were not able to, I tried Friday and then we tried again today. By the time, we were not able to get him, he will be here at the next meeting.
He's hard to get hold of.
In the meantime, what I've done is I called MRSC to find out legal advice as to, because I knew this was coming down the pike today, that we were gonna have gonna be a topic of conversation. And MRSC basically says that this is a executive session conversation that needs to happen because of the potential litigation, and because it's an executive session, the state has really come down hard and wants your attorney present at all executive sessions. So, in the meantime, we will, kicking the can down the road, I believe the situation is being monitored. I believe it's being handled. Mike's been in contact with the parties, and is trying to, in the meantime, come to a resolution. How's that? Okay? And so we'll see what happens by the next meeting, and we'll go from there. Right now, no news is probably the right answer. And MRSC did suggest that I have a conversation with each one of you council members privately and letting you know where we're at. I can do that. I can have a conversation with each one privately, giving them an update where we're at. It just can't go out. Okay? And then, so as long as you guys don't string it on to each other, that sort of deal, okay? So I will arrange that in the next day or two, that I will try to have a 15-minute conversation and answer any questions that you might have at this point. How's that?
So Roy, the council doesn't need to take any action at this
Not
point?
at this point. Not at this point, not without our legal counsel.
Okay.
Okay? And MRSC was fairly adamant about that. That was the first thing they said, was you will not, this is an executive session situation, and you will not go to executive session without your attorney. And when I said he's in Israel, it kind of slowed the whole process down. So, and I wish him well. Okay?
So when you talk to us, you're just after our just personal
I'm
feelings?
just gonna, no, I don't need your answers. I'm gonna let you know what is in the process, what we're doing in the process at this point. Okay? And answer any questions you might have. I was gonna get our code enforcement officer to come tonight, but it was gonna have to be done in executive session. And we couldn't do it without Stephen here. So, okay, does that kind of make some sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
sounds
All
good.
right.
That's a good plan.
All right. Okay, so since Kendra left, so inopportune time. All right, so FYI, you guys got your emails from Kendra expressing the unfortunate that when we went to cancel the meeting that I was supposed to have that was scheduled the first week of May, because we had made the commitment. If we made the commitment prior to a date, you got $100 off. So when I signed that up in order to save, to keep us, we had to let them know by a certain date, which was, I believe it was April 6th, which was our meeting date. and we had to let them know by midnight that night or something like that. I was not aware of it.
Or shall we pause until Kendra comes back?
Well, I don't think I'm gonna say anything that she
There's not
doesn't
many
know.
note taking.
Yeah. So, that's where we are at this point. So at this point, I need some direction on the council as to whether we're gonna eat the, I believe it's $450, and me not go, or whether I'm okay to go, and we'll go from there.
So, Roy, all we're talking about is additional $200+.
Well, I've already got some of that money in
Right.
the
So-
travel budget, right?
But we're asking, I think, to make this, because I know that there was some discussion at the last meeting that we didn't want to increase the budget in a general way. But yet, if you brought forward some indication what your plans were, what you wanted to do, that case by case, we could approve that. And so that's an important point. I do think that knowing all that, I think there could be some exceptions to this in that you have cities that are committed to how much is this cost. And if we approve the additional $200+, then city could pay that and that would be whole. So I'm talking, Kendra, how much are we talking about exactly, dollar-wise? More?
This is for the labor conference.
I think it's about $550
Total.
Total.
And we have some in the budget.
yes.
Right.
So additionally, it wasn't somewhere.
Like, I think it's about $250 is what we have left in the budget.
Can I offer a simple solution? The building inspector, his budget's $2,000 annually. They have used none of it for 5 or 6 years. What if we took a portion of the current $2,000, transferred that to the mayor's expenses? That covers it. We have no additional expenses on the part of the city.
Well, I have a lot of problem with doing that. So we set aside money in those budgets to pay people who are on the ground doing things for our city, whether it's training for Stephen, whether it's training for Kenda. And I find it kind of concerning that we would have a building inspector taking $500 a month, $6,000 a year, $30,000 over a 5-year period and not getting any additional training in order, especially if they're not already a licensed bonded building inspector. That money needs to stay in that account to use or go to other people who are on the ground, in my opinion. I don't think that's helpful to us to transfer it over there. If we wanted to increase for Roy to meet the $250 extra for just the registration, but you would be on your own for the hotel and food. I don't know. I was just afraid something like this was going to happen because I find it concerning that you already knew you signed up for the conference. You didn't reveal that to us when we went through 40 minutes of debate over it at our last council meeting. And again, it's a conference of something that really wouldn't kick into place for about 3 years because we already have things in place for the union contract right now. So where that role of a mayor stepping in and really helping is 3 years down the road. A lot of things can change in 3 years. So is that the best bang for our buck? There are a lot of things, like when you went to emergency management last fall, we increased your budget for that. That's super helpful for the city, things that have to do with the sewer plant. So I think that you had stated you were going to go whether we paid for it or not. I mean, we already voted that we weren't going to increase your budget at this time. So I'm just not sure why this is back on the agenda or why we are facing it. I would say that unfortunately that we really shouldn't do that at this time.
Well, I still believe that the unused budget from our building inspector, by his own admission, I mean, we're talking a couple $300 out of that budget. That affects nothing. That budget has not been touched in 6 years. So that tells me it's probably not going to get touched this year. So why not just simply pull whatever we need to make the balance work for him out of that, put it in his, it's a wash. The money's still there, the majority of it. If the building inspector needs to go to class, he still has the funding available.
Well, we have general funds to do that. I mean, it's not, we don't have to take anything out of another budget. We would have general funds to move it if we approve
Well,
it.
whatever, but I think it's just a simple way of doing things right.
Well, what are we gonna get out of that? What are you gonna bring back to the city that's gonna show that it was well spent money? What are you personally gonna bring back?
It's a labor relations where it's a deep dive into labor relations. And I specifically talked to AWC and I said, so what am I gonna learn at this conference that I didn't learn at the one at Lacey? And she says it's a much deeper dive into labor relations, how to handle labor issues, how to handle management, how to manage employment issues, how to, for lack of better terms, how to combat, or excuse me, how to address the fact that whatever we just went through. And it's not $15,000.
Let me ask you this, and I'm assuming it's gonna happen sooner or later, we get a contract with the union representatives and the union. And then would part of this training give you education how to deal with a contractual complaint from the union where one of the employees files a complaint? Now, you're gonna have some training on how to properly deal with that. Is that
I would
correct?
hope so. I would hope so. Sure.
Right. So it would clearly benefit not only the union employees, but the city if you have problems, as far as management problems. I mean, there's a lot to learn about these things. It's complicated. It is. And I know that our own city attorney said that it's complicated. He didn't have a great deal of knowledge on these specifics. So I don't think training is unreasonable. And all we're talking about here, right, it's a little, I'm trying to keep it focused on you requesting additional information on this specific training session of additional $250. I personally would have, I see where that would, there's, for that kind of money already spent, that would benefit the city, and you're able to manage it for the $250. I would support that.
Are you making a motion? Is
Well,
that a motion?
Yes, that's my point. That's my position. I'll make that a motion.
So what is the motion exactly? Motion to increase the budget to whatever the amount is to pay for it?
Yes, on a one-time basis for this.
Just for the registration?
For this registration, this does not cover, as it's been stated,
Okay,
all the other issues, the travel and all that. This is just a registration.
okay.
And then we can look at some of the issues downrange which have merit.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we increase the training budget for the mayor by whatever the number is that covers the.
And what's the number?
I don't know exactly, I'd have to look it up.
It's around 250.
We think there's 250. It might be as high as 550. I'm not sure that.
It is 550, but we have some of the money in the budget. We have about 250 in the budget.
So you just need to increase it just to cover
It could
$200.
It could
Yeah.
be 300.
I'd have to go back to the
Right.
emails.
So whatever, 300, right.
But in the future, Roy, you're gonna have to cut back on some of this stuff. You can't keep running all over the country. So somewhere along the line, you're gonna have to.
I hear what you're saying, Mr. Tice. I think it's foolish. I think it's interesting that because I want to learn about this stuff, I'm being handcuffed, and I think it's a political move in order to take away any insight I might have. But hold it.
You just keep badgering us, and that's what's putting a bad taste in our mouth. Is to
Okay,
keep badgering. You make
thank
a
you.
really good point.
I was quiet. Pete, you mentioned that it might help down the road as far as alleviating any problems. And if I gather more experience, if I gather more insight, it might stop it before it gets to a problem.
I agree.
So Roy, our handbook says that if you want to argue a point, which you have every right to do what you're doing, that you need to turn over the monitoring of this to the deputy mayor.
Okay.
Okay, so,
All right,
or
thank
just go
you.
ahead
I'm
and
done
take a
then.
vote.
I'm done. Okay, that was fun. All right. We're gonna poll for the motion on the
Well, I
floor.
have.
Yeah, do you need to say something? You want to
Yeah,
say something?
I just, you know, we're in April and we're facing with this right now, you know. It just seems like maybe monitor the things you go to, manage it more, you know, because I just don't think it's fair to the city to always pay for the, and I think it's great you've got the interest in, but you know yourself that if you were sitting on the city council like you have, how would you feel?
Well, I'm not supposed to answer because I evidently I'm told I can't.
Well,
No,
I
you
just asked
can't, you just need to turn it over
Well, no,
to Dave to take the vote.
I was very proactive prior to Kendra's hire. I was very proactive in getting my staff, whoever it took, to get them to go to conferences to learn more about what was going on. I took Stephen down to the IACC conference and he was blown away by the amount of information that was presented. And I mean, and it put me 6 hours, 7 hours in a rig with him so that we could hash stuff back and forth as we learn things throughout. And this is where I make reconnections with JOB. This is where Matt was down there. I'm not gonna defend my want to be to learn stuff about what it would take to make this outfit better.
No, and I don't think that's what I'm asking. I just think that, you know, we've had lots of years that kind of never had to do that. And I'm not saying it might have worked if had they done it, but this is so excessive, you know, compared to anything we've faced. We're a community of 800,
Okay.
you know, and I'm just wondering if you polled, you know, the citizens in the town and how they felt, if they're all for it, great.
Okay.
But we're here to represent some of them, you know, and I think I talked for some.
Certainly, I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. I'm not, this isn't, I don't know what is the idea of what goes on in these things. You're kind of working your tails off while you're there, and there's a lot of information that is pounded at you and hammered at you, and there's a lot of conversations that happen at the tables. And the previous mayors weren't looking down the pike at a union contract. The previous mayors weren't looking at the sewer plant right in the nose.
But they all had issues, though. They all had things they had to address.
Certainly.
You know that. You were on the council, so you know.
Yep, and that was their choice. That was their choice, not to seek that information. Okay.
Okay, well,
All right.
it might be
Yep.
naive for me, but possibly if there's more training in labor relations, maybe we wouldn't be here where we are now. Relating this whole business with union, just for union negotiation, maybe that'll be a different outcome. And also, I'm hoping when you take this training, that you'll come back and give us a primer on what might be appropriate for the council to know. That'd be reasonable.
No problem. You guys understand, when I was at a Inland Northwest Partners meeting last Thursday in Spokane, we found out about social media and the acts and the advantages and the pratfalls of a city getting into social media. And on a scale of 1 to 10, was that very important? About an 8. But I made a contact with the gal who was out at the golf course with us.
Right.
That's why I ran into her at. And we had a great 15-minute conversation about how we can proceed with that. Okay? I'm not gonna defend myself anymore. I'm not doing this we're not sitting around a pool doing this stuff. It's a work conference. And and I'm taking a hit. I'm putting the school district or my employers at a disadvantage when I do this also. okay, because they gotta cover my schedule. So, I just, anyway, okay, we got a motion on the floor that allows us to cover what it's gonna cost to go. And it's, we're gonna talk $300 maybe, okay? Okay, it's been seconded, we're gonna go around the room.
Yes, yes.
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 This,
No.
Okay.
And-
Motion passes 5-1.
And I'd like to just really clarify, because I feel like you keep pushing my responses into kind of a frame that's not good. I think it's important for you to get education on things that are pertinent to the city. I just think you have to pick and choose. And, we gave you a budget, we are 800 people, and so, and then to keep coming back every time we say no to something,
Okay,
and keep coming back every time we say no to something, it kind of pushes through, it kind of makes what we do irrelevant, and I think that's unfortunate.
thank you. Okay, we'll go to E, harassment ordinance. We're still on hold on that, I'm guessing. Okay, golf course.
Wait,
Somebody's got something?
okay, on the harassment thing, they didn't have the paperwork in the office anywhere down there at all, Eric's office. So I couldn't bring anything back. So I talked to Kenda, and she was pretty busy last few weeks. So I didn't want to pound her with this. And so she promised she could help me out, make an ordinance resolution in the future. And I've been bringing up with the city of Edmonton and copying what they got. And I work with Kenda to bring something up for us to pass here. But she's tied down and I didn't want to bug her.
Okay, that's a nice way to put it. Okay, we'll move on. Golf course remodel, Pete.
Okay, well, we had a meeting with Vista, they came out and along with the contractor that they brought. I thought it was very helpful. They're very positive. I thought they got the impression that it was doable and they had some suggestions of how it could be done. And they said that they would please send up the bids, and we did. City sent the bids to them, to Chris, who was the keeper of the light as far as grants. And we were waiting to get the results back on that as a starter. And I think, well, you have more information on that as far as what Vista said.
Yeah, she put it in your packet, I believe.
Is it the bottom, or it was by itself, maybe it was just, I thought, I just gave it to him.
Oh.
Just hit me there.
Hold it over there, hold it there.
This one?
No,
No.
this side.
We will, if we can't dig into it, we will find that and send that to you guys.
I can print it. Do you guys all want it? Sure. Or is it something we're interested in?
So,
You wasn't hurting anybody?
I'm trying to remember if they came back with a dollar amount that was, not that
Underwhelming?
underwhelming. I think that was the term. It was a couple $1,000, $500, something. It was very small. And, which was disappointing. We were thinking it was gonna be like in the maybe $20,000 grant situation. That was my impression after talking to all parties, which is, nobody offered that. That was just my wishful thinking, apparently. So we appreciate that, and I think they're willing to be a partner. But apparently, at this juncture, I haven't talked to Chris directly. We don't have a great deal of money on the line to help us with this project. So next fall, I'm hoping, I've asked the mayor about this, that I can't remember if there's a meeting set up with the port at any time, or where's the next thing? You've been
Not at
the
this
contact.
point. We don't have anything set up with the port concerning this actual project.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it can't happen.
Right. So.
And that's probably the next step.
Okay.
We've had this in our hands for like a day.
Right.
So,
Is there some way we can get those actual numbers and then put it on the agenda for our next meeting?
yes, yeah. We'll find them.
No, I have it, I just.
They're just bopping around.
It's easier just to put it on the next agenda.
Yeah, because I just found it today.
Yeah.
So Pete, can I ask you, so for the golf course, they have their annual fundraiser coming up, right? And you
Yes.
know the date of when that is?
Yeah, that's,
May 20th, something like that.
yeah, maybe, is it May 20th, maybe even earlier than that. I just had that at home and I was gonna bring it because I knew somebody asked me.
It's been on Facebook too.
Yeah, it's on Facebook, so, and I think you and Mike had talked about informally working with, trying to find a fundraiser on about that time, and that's good, again, that's not a simple thing. I don't know if you had a chance to visit with Chris.
Well, I just would like to make sure that we are really supporting that fundraiser. I think that especially with a lot of people newer in town, they don't necessarily understand. It took me a long time to really know how that fundraiser worked. And it's a memorial for Liz and Chris Smith's son, who
Yes.
tragically was killed many years ago. And there's a two-part to this, am I correct? That they do an event at the golf course where people participate.
Right.
And then there's a dinner at the high school. And I believe I saw an RSVP. I'd like to talk to Scott maybe a little bit about some ways that I can help promote it on Facebook.
Sure.
A little bit, but I think it would be really helpful if people really saw that and understood that they could be a part, if they don't golf or something, they could come to the dinner, and I think there's a silent auction. I don't know, have any of you been to it before?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I know they raise about enough to support their funding for the year, is what I remember Scott saying. But if we can really kind of help promote it, and they can somehow pull down some of the Spokane people who come down here and golf and things, I think that would really help them at this point.
Well, I wasn't thinking that we would, move into that memorial fundraiser. It does, I mean, it's a wonderful thing and it does help, but I thought with some expertise, maybe we could work around the edges as you're discussing and maybe get some seed money for extra money for the golf course, knowing that this is going to apply towards remodeling the golf course, which is really not the golf course, the clubhouse, which everybody there is supporting as an improvement. So how we put that together without affecting the tenure of the whole fundraiser with Chris remains to be seen. So I don't know, but we do need the board has said that they would informally say that they would certainly support some kind of a fundraiser for money to help seed money for this remodel. How that works with all parties, I don't know yet. That's where we are. But I think that Mike indicates he's an expert on this thing. You had experience. I've had not as much. I've been involved and I've golfed out there on these things, and I hope to participate in it in some ways this year. Now that I'm a member of the golf course, golf club, but only did that probably because of an interest and partly I thought it was helpful. But that's a wonderful thing, and it generates tons of money so the golf club can stay solvent, and that's all good. So,
And my comments earlier were to help support what's already in place.
Right.
Because we're a small town, we get to do a lot of different fundraisers and things. So if we already have a fundraiser in place, how we can help them maximize it. Because basically it's been the same flyer every year after year after year. So people kind of maybe don't realize what's really going on. So those are ways I'd like to see us support now.
I think I agree with you.
Okay, we'll move on. The birthday celebration, what do we got?
So I did talk to Joel Duque about, I mentioned that he does every summer now, I think this would be the third year. In conjunction with the theater, he brings in car clubs that are coming back from other events. And anyway, he was very interested. He said, yes, he would help to do something to help celebrate the 250th birthday. He's gonna talk to the theater people and talk about maybe it would include maybe a cruising around town, everybody come where they have a classic car or not, maybe do patriotic flags and stuff. So more to be involved. Anybody who's here or listening wants to be involved in that, they can contact Joel Duque.
Okay, we'll roll a H. Matt, you're up. I guess,
All right. Excuse me.
you got H and A, you got old business and new business at the same time.
Ah, okay. I was wondering, I didn't have like that, so.
Yeah, we skipped one.
Okay, so here for a couple things. One, we opened bids for the chip seal, scrub seal project, kind of around the southeast corner of town. We opened those on April 3rd. And there's a letter of recommendation. We got 7 bids. One of them came late, so we didn't open it, returned it. But overall, the bids came in really well, way lower than the engineer's estimate. Lower prices than the last chip seal project we did. We did a scrub seal on Ramsey in Washington, and the prices came in lower than that. I was worried the prices of oil was going to push everything a lot higher because we put it out to bid the day before things happened in the Middle East, and so I thought it was going to
There we go, right?
Yeah, it was thought maybe we hit the absolute worst timing possible, but actually the bids came in really well, way lower than anticipated. About half the engineer's estimate, which is great. So, first thing I did is I talked to the funding agency and said, look, they kind of berated me a little bit, said, how come your estimate's so bad? So I kind of explained what happened. I said, but we have all this money left over now. Can we use this to do more? Because there are other streets in town that we didn't apply for. And I'm kind of looking at what I asked him was, there's a bunch of streets in this area, east of Washington, north of 27, 271, Alder, Crosby, Roosevelt, that are already paved, that could use a chip seal. They're in the same category or same, where as most of the streets we were doing down here. We were trying to break it up into like 3 groups, do a little bit around. But with where we're at, I said, is there a chance we could use that money to do more here? Do these streets? Maybe, I know you have a bid to do double chip seal on Crosby around on Broadway. So they were open to that. So I think there's a possibility we could probably do all the streets in this northeast corner of town. Maybe even, Steve and I were talking about Railroad, maybe Water Street. So there's enough that I think we can do more, and the funding agency is open to that. So,
And they can't do anything on, around Rural Park area?
yeah, all of these, yeah. So what we talked about was Alder, all the way across, Roosevelt, all the way to Crosby where it ends, and on the other side, Broadway, Crosby, double chip sealing that, going North Ramsey where, these 2 blocks. So, I mean, pretty much this whole corner.
I was looking at Washington.
That's right. Washington just got done a couple of years ago. So we just did that. Ramsey just got done. So it's pretty much all these streets. And we could all do all those, and there's a couple others that I think we could hit. So,
Are these all on our 6-year plan then? Is this the?
So the 6-year plan has chip seal or that on many of those roads, yeah. So I think it's pretty vague on that.
So because you said some of those were chip sealed already, the one at Rural Park is not.
Yeah, so I specifically asked him, because I knew that North Crosby around this loop is gravel.
Right.
I specifically said, could we do double chip seal on that? Because that's what the city had already planned. I think you got a quote for that already, which coincidentally is from the same contractor that is the low bidder on the project. So, and they were open to that too. So I know that's a high priority to do that too. So I don't have a final yes yet. We gotta go through this first process, which is awarding the contract to the contractor for what they bid. And then the next step is, once we do that, let's talk about a change order for what else we can do, and then get that approved by the funding agency. But I'm hopeful that at least that whole northeast part can be done, and maybe even more. So.
And even stretch it over to where, like, from Spring Street, and I think it's over on the other side of the trestle.
Yeah.
Because that is on our 6-year plan.
So I've been working with Stephen, and so that's what we were talking about Railroad today too. So there's hope that we can do a lot more with what we have, because we have an excess of funds available.
Yeah.
So and like I said, the funding agency was open to that, but I said let's award this,
as it is now, and then we'll take that next step about doing a change order and adding that in. So, yeah, so.
You were doing, maybe I missed it, a number of streets that are gravel, are there still gravel streets out there that you're gonna chip seal?
Yeah.
Can you chip seal the gravel?
You can. A lot of places they do like a double chip seal over that to try and give it some sort of surface preparation. It's not going to last very long. It's something you're going to have to maintain. You have to do it again in about 5 years, because if you don't, it'll just disintegrate and fall apart. So you gotta plan that in about 5 years you're going to need to do something else on that.
Okay.
So otherwise it'll last for a few years, but then snow plows, wear and tear, just tear it up. So you have to. It's an ongoing maintenance.
Yeah, it was a question I had because I've seen it on previously paved streets and it
Yeah.
works very well.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about gravel.
Yeah.
To answer that question. Thanks.
So the first item there is recommending that we award send the notice of award to the contractor, low bidder, Aero Construction. I think in your packet there's a, it's this letter here.
Oh, the letter. Oh.
Yeah. Did a verification of the contractor's license. They have a valid license. They're not debarred. Did a bid tabulation, made sure the bid was correct. And I think the last thing that there was a letter from TIB they should have gotten that said that they concurred with the award. So Jonathan Huseman, I guess that's from Ashby's Crowbar, but Jonathan Huseman is your regional engineer, and he's the one I've been working with. And he's the one who said, yeah, we can probably look at doing more of this.
So do you need us to approve awarding the,
Yes.
I would make a motion to award the TID contract as written.
I'll second it.
And moved and seconded. Any discussion? What's the timeline, Matt?
They want us, we didn't want them to start on Hinkle and Warren and the roads around the schools until after mid-June when school gets out. So probably mid to late June. That's a better time to do it anyway. You want really nice weather, hot weather. Yeah. So that's the timeline.
And you said how long does it take to do this?
They have got 30 days. They're not going to work every day, but we're also, just so you know, we want them to prepare a pretty detailed schedule for us so that we can go around to people and say, this day your road's going to be shut off. You need to get your cars off the street. You can park over here. We're not going to do consecutive streets, so they have some room to park. But you got to get your cars off the street. If you can't get your car off the street, it's going to be towed out of the way. So if there's any broken down vehicles, they're going to be moved, because we got to get them off the street so that they can do the work, because you don't want them to go around it. It looks terrible when they have to go around it.
I've seen elderly drive 4 blocks on fresh chip seal.
Yeah.
It was not pretty.
No. So there's going to be a lot of notification that goes on for people saying, this day your road's going to be shut off. You need to park. If you need to get out, you're not going to be able to get out, because once they start, they can't stop until they're done. And now it's only going to be the day. So it's not going to be overnight. It's going to be one day at a time, and because they usually come through and spray the oil, throw the chips down, compact it, and then move on to the next one. So, but it is going to be something that's going to interrupt people for that day at a time. And they're going to do, some of the places they're going to be doing, like on Broadway, I think Broadway, I can't remember, but there are some streets that are going to have a scrub seal, which is what they did on Ramsey and Washington, and then they're going to go put a chip seal on top of that. So there's going to be a day where they're going to be off the scrub seal, and then a week or a few days later, there's going to be another day where they're going to be shut off because they're going to do a chip seal, and a few days later or a week, they're going to do a fog seal over the top. So we're really doing a really good product for it. The way the funding agency funded it, it's going to be a really good finished product, but it is going to have some interruption for people for a few days. So.
Yes, question, it's a little off the subject a bit, but in years past, you had people who were doing these projects. They could help individual homeowners put their apron that connects to the road itself, which was kind of nice interface. Did you have anybody to do that this year?
As in somebody
The driveway is short, 4 or 5 feet, and they need to have that apron to go up to the road itself.
So I think what we'll do is in the notification pieces, I think it would be good to include, I think we'll send out a blanket notification to everybody that says, this is coming this summer. We're gonna give you more information about when your days are, that they're gonna be working on it. But here's a map of what roads are gonna be blocked off. And then with that, we'll include the name of the company that's doing it. Say, as you said, if you want to have your driveway, contact these people and get a quote from them directly.
Okay,
So let me write that note down so I make sure.
appreciate that.
Make sure we aren't doing the high school when Slippery Gulch is going on.
Yes. Yeah. I don't anticipate it to be middle of June to start. I think it's gonna be
But they
late
do, I
June
mean,
or July.
they could be on that side of town.
Yeah.
When it's happening.
Yeah.
It just, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kinda.
Is the, street that goes by the pool, is it gonna be done?
Warren and Leslie.
So it probably, I guess I'd be able to get to it from the school when I sit at the, I just wanna make sure it's not gonna be an issue to be able to get to the pool.
Yeah. We'll make sure that those aren't done at the same time. I'm sure they would like to do them at the same time. Yeah. Because they're doing Warren all the way from
Well, I know, but I want.
here to here, and they're also doing Leslie all the way.
So Make sure that's no done once.
We'll do
You don't
one or the other.
You don't talk 2 days.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this was
Or
the
3
whole-
days, but pool to be down.
Okay,
So, but we'll get it, like I say, that's gonna be part of the schedule that the contractor provides us about what their plan is to do. And then we'll work around that and
Yeah,
we'll talk
2
through.
days, just announced, the pool's gonna be down for these 2 days.
Well, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that.
well, as long as you can get within a half a block, I think.
Yeah, it will be okay. Yeah, we have to listen to
Okay,
We gotta vote.
what else?
it. We need to vote on it.
We just need to approve it?
Yeah, need to approve the notice of award. So this is just telling them that they're the low bidder, and then we'll have a contract at the next meeting, an agreement to sign.
I'll entertain a motion to
We already have
approve.
a motion.
The motion
We already
is
got
second.
it?
And a
Is it
second.
seconded?
Mhm.
I've lost track of which one's been motion and second. Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
I mean, I didn't mention this, but you should already know, this is 100% grant funded, so there's no out of pocket for the city. So,
We love that.
yeah.
Okay,
So the next thing on the list is the supplemental agreement for engineering services. This is so, we'll help into the town with the paperwork, the administration of the contractor, provide on-site inspection to make sure the contractor's doing the right thing. Again, 100% grant funded. What's shown here is just something out of the pocket of the town.
you get it? Read it.
Looks like this.
You guys
Yep.
get it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's my color.
Fine.
Do we need a motion for approval? I'll make a motion to approve the consultant supplemental agreement.
So moved. Pete seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Great, congratulations.
Great.
You're stuck with this for a little while longer.
And I don't know if you want to update on the well project out at the industrial park or,
Certainly, Kara was at our last meeting.
okay.
You can,
So we're, just so you know, that's still all progressing. Been talking with Kim Wertz at the Conservancy Board. I'm actually gonna meet her out on Friday, so she can look at the site. Had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with, the Department of Health out there to look at the well site. It's all just their checklist to make sure they're checking things off, but everything seems to be moving forward with that. The port wants to get the project, the development project with the putting a pump in the well and all the stuff you have associated with putting a well, making a well active, development of a well is what it's called. They want to get that out to bid as soon as we can. Kara's out this week, so it's probably going to be next week, but just moving forward on that. So
Did they say how deep it was?
it was about 300 feet.
Okay. relative shallow.
Yeah, yeah. They only got 30 gallons a minute, but that's all they wanted. So that's enough water for what they need. So not a very big pumping well.
This is a good start, because then if it develops more, they can go down deeper.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what's going on with that. No real updates. It's waiting. The Conservancy Board got to go ahead to submit their approval to Ecology. So that's all that's the process for the city to add that well as a point of withdrawal to your water rights. That's what that's going through. So that's all in process, but nothing really. It's moving at the pace of Ecology. So.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Could you talk about the sewer project that, went back
The
to
plan.
Century West
Yeah,
and kind of what the.
That was the next thing I was going to
Oh,
talk
I'm sorry, okay, thank you.
So Century West got comments that we had, or that I had, the city had for the sewer facilities plan. And what I know, they're working on it. It kind of got pushed to the bottom of a pile, and so I called and asked if it could be pushed up to the top of the pile a little more. So I will keep pushing on them. I don't have a very big thumb to push on them anymore, but I will keep trying to get them to get that get the comments incorporated so we can move forward with that, because it's still, once the next draft comes out and we take a look at it, and if the city's comfortable with that, then it needs to go to Ecology for their review. But a lot of the comments that I provided at the last review would be comments that Ecology would have as well. So it's kind of trying to short circuit that and limit the number of review cycles at Ecology.
Are they staffed now, or do they have changed heads?
Ecology or
No,
Century West? They're still struggling a little bit. So
that it'll probably be slower then, because there's not enough people there.
yeah. But like I say, I know the guy who's working on it, and I'm trying to push him a little bit to move it forward.
So he'll do a good job.
So as far as who is our consultant for that, I mean, so it's still Century West,
Yes.
but we're not contractually paying them anymore, right? Because we finished that,
Right.
but they owe us this plan. And so can we not move forward until we get the plan in hiring our next consultant?
Well, you want them to finish the plan because it's not going to cost you anything else.
Right, exactly.
If I was to take it over and do it, I mean, I would need something for my time to take it over to finish.
But when they're done, we do need to hire
Yeah,
someone.
yeah.
And so is the marker to get that back before we start the process of hiring?
Matt's got his thumb on me too. He keeps, we've had this conversation. You're gonna tell me when we need to push and when we don't.
Yeah.
Well, do we have to go through we obviously would want
You will.
Matt, and so, but don't we have to put it out?
Yes.
Yeah,
Is
you'll have to put out
it bid? Is that the?
It's not a bid, it's a request for qualifications, or a request. So you submit you can either do it on a project by project basis. So like, for example, the next street project, you put out an RFQ for engineering services for the street project. And then the next water project, put out an RFQ for engineering services for the water project. Or you can do a general on-call agreement one time and say, we want somebody to do all our water and sewer and streets, and then select. That's what you've done historically. And then you make a selection off that, and then every time you have a project come up, you say, can you do this? If you can do this, we need a task order to do this. So it just saves some time.
And if I understand correctly, when it comes to once it gets to the stage of going to the Department of Ecology, and then we start looking for grants and all of those kind of things, aren't we kind of calendar bound? Aren't there certain things that happen at certain times of year? So, I mean, is there sort of a push point where we should probably really try to know who's taking this forward so that we don't get pushed out to 2028 or something to that effect?
Yeah. So the next step, there's like two more steps here. Finishing the plan is the next big step. Once the plan is finished, then you would move into just design of the plan. And that's going to be the next step. And then as that plant design gets closer to finished, that's when looking for the bigger grants. And interestingly enough, the Port of Whitman County has been really good to work with on grants at the federal level, like a federal appropriation. The town of St. John was on Michael Baumgartner's list for a $3 million grant for their wastewater treatment plant. And so when I talked to Dan Bixby, I think his name is, he was asking about what I saw coming next. And I said, well, the town of Tekoa's got a treatment plant really similar to the St. John that I know they would be looking for a federal appropriation grant for. So at least that put a tickler in his mind that you guys are going to be coming to the same point as St. John in a couple of years. So
Well, now we're saying a couple of years, so is that how long you say that it'll take to get the plan?
so right now we got to get the plan approved.
Right, I
There's
understand that.
And that is going to, from the time you get it back, we take another look and see if there's any other comments until the council is happy with what the plan is and what it says. And then it goes to ecology. There's probably about they have 60 days to review it.
Okay.
Okay. And provide comments. If they have any comments, you have to send it back and they have, another 60 days to review it. So, you're probably talking later this year before that plan gets approved. Even if you had it today, 60 days from now is June, addressing comments, sometime July or August, if you have the plan today, which you don't, because they're still getting that going. So it's going to be this fall before the plan could possibly be approved. And then you're going to have about a year for design of that plan. Take the plan, whatever it is, whether it's lagoons, whether it's irrigation, however, whatever the plan comes up with the recommendation, and you guys agree with the recommendation, there's about a year for the design of that whole thing. So if you're thinking end of this year, that plan gets approved, then you have another year for the design. So you're talking the end of 27 for design, and then the funding from ecology is intended to be there when you're ready. So if that's the end of 27, and their package has a certain amount of forgivable principal and a certain amount of loan, talking to the people now about having that funding ready, like federal appropriation ready at the end of 27 is the right time.
Okay.
So.
Well, I remember up at when you came to the high school about a year ago, and we went through this, and I believe one of our townspeople asked that question, and she asked if it was possible, if you foresaw that we could be breaking ground on it by 2030. Would you say that's still reasonable?
I think 23 is still well within the time frame. I think 28 is likely.
To actually be breaking ground.
Be breaking ground, yeah. That's what I think is likely.
Matt, when do we acquire property, if that's the case, that during the planning phase or the design phase?
We got to get through the planning, because if it depends on what option you guys want to go with. If you're looking at land application, you need a lot bigger area. You need to find a spot suitable for what that is. And so if that's the plan you go with, at that point, that would be what you would start looking for. If there's one of the options is to store it out on a piece of ground there and discharge it into the regulated out. That's a different amount of area. You're going to need area for lagoons, storage, whether no matter what you do. So there is going to be property acquisition, but until you know what your direction is, it's just too early because you don't know how much you need.
So we're not going to be in a mechanical situation where we just expand and improve the efficiency of the present system we have, no lagoons, and you have extra hole, and then you discharge certain times of the year.
Yeah.
Is that an option, or is it going to be way more involved in that?
That is an option, but it costs about 5 times as much as all the other options, if it's even possible to meet the discharge limits. The limits they set for the no discharge or the limited discharge period are so low that there's only 1 or 2 technologies that could meet that. And they're, have you heard of reverse osmosis? That's about the only treatment that you can use to meet that. And the process engineer wasn't sure you could meet it with that. So and it's really expensive. So it's really not possible practically. It's possible, but it's not possible practically.
Feasible.
Yeah, sure, that's a good word too.
So then go
Go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just, so when Century West came in here and brought that, and I knew you had a lot of questions and things you wanted them to fix, but I felt like it became evident that the membrane was not gonna work for us. It was, so that was, we took that off, and then Stephen took a lot of us out to look at the plant, and it just feels like we are back to the original two options that we have always had, which is either a land application up the hill on Zeke Knight's property, or acquiring the property out on the corner after the triangular piece or whatever. And so, because it just seems like we keep getting up to that and then something else gets thrown in. I mean, are we still at those two? Because it seems like once we get the final numbers and stuff, why can't we just bring that through and start moving ahead on it?
That's where, I think that's where we're at. That's kind of what the last, I mean, there's an amount of documentation you have to put in there for each of those options. The MBR is the membrane plant, the other options, and there's not enough information in the plan yet to fully develop the cost and the plan for each of those. So that's what there's like, it's like a puzzle, and you know what the puzzle looks like, but there's pieces missing that you need to put in there before you finish the puzzle.
Okay.
And ecology will say the same thing that I'm saying is you haven't, for example, the O&M costs on the MBR plant and the lagoon system and the irrigation system, there's no detail in there, and it doesn't make sense, the numbers they came up with. If you have an MBR plant, there's a lot of mechanical stuff, and there's a lot of O&M that's required of them. You have to replace the membranes every 10 years. That wasn't included in the documentation at all. You have to have a higher class operator. That's not included in the documentation at all. There's certain things. If you have an irrigation system, there's a lot of maintenance that goes along with those. Whether it's a circular irrigation or a rolling irrigation system, whatever it is. But in the documents, there was higher O&M for some of the other options that shouldn't have as much of maintenance. So there just wasn't.
Okay. I get it.
There was a lot of issues with the some of the conclusions and some of the things, and so
you anticipate us kind of ending up in the same places, but in order for these plans to get approved from Department of Ecology, we have to have all those.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you feel about the I&I? Is it pretty well under control now? We got it down, and we still got some problems with it?
it's really well under control, except when the creek gets up and floods the manholes. And so that's what Steven's been working on, getting all those manholes along the creek.
Mm-hmm.
The lids replaced with something that seals and isn't gonna leak, because what we saw in last spring was that once some of those got underwater,
Exploded.
the only thing limiting what he was pumping through the plant was the capacity of the pipe he could pull through the.
So there's a little bit more work to do on that.
Yeah, but he's been working on that, getting the lids as soon as he can from H.D. Fowler, right? So, but yes, that's one thing we identified last summer and said, let's work on getting these replaced as quick as we can.
Okay.
So, because there's lids that are underwater when the creek comes up, and once they're underwater, and if they, flip at all or are open, they flood.
Free water.
Yeah.
Matt, what is the hammer we could use with Century West, or is there any, we can keep requesting it, but in the end, do they have any, we paid them their money.
Yeah.
Do we have any hammer, any obligation? Will ecology talk to them? I don't want to miss another cycle.
No.
Because that's where we're headed.
Yeah. Well, I think you're already on the list. If I remember right, I think you're already on the list for design money. So it's already been earmarked for this year. But what hammer? That's a tough one.
Do we pick it? Do we, you can't get blood out of a rock, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they can only go so fast, and I'm quite certain they're probably, we're not the only ones concerned.
I mean, if you really wanted to, you could send a letter, just saying, this has been under review for such and such. We need a plan in order to meet our deadlines by June 1st or whatever that date is. Pick a date. Say, we've got to have. If you write a letter and it says that, I'm pretty sure they'll meet that,
Okay.
or try really hard to meet it.
Then the product is what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I mean, it may, you know how that goes, right?
Yeah. But the end product has got to be something that you guys agree with.
Could we send it back then?
What?
Can we send it back to them if it's not?
Absolutely.
This
This is your plan.
Yeah.
This is your
I
plan.
get it, but
You have to like the recommendation they have. And if it's not the recommendation you want, I mean, you need to
goes
let them
another
know.
goes another 4 months down the road then?
Well, I would hope not. But I mean, this is a big financial commitment, and you got to make sure that what you're choosing is the right thing. So
Yeah, it's staying away from the wrong thing.
that's why I've been trying to help.
All right, thanks.
Review.
Yes, ma'am?
So you said that there's a second phase for the design, is that, so we already did a grant application to Ecology for that? And is it 50/50 again? Is it half
For
pay,
design,
half
yeah, it
loan?
would be 50/50.
And what was the cost amount in that?
Well, they asked for a number, October, August, September, and without knowing the plan, I mean, it's just a number they put in to reserve, and I think it was $1.5 million
For the plan?
for the design. Yeah,
For design, okay.
Yeah. And doesn't mean that's how much it's gonna cost, but looking at some of the numbers, it looked like it was around 15 million for some of the options, and so we said, well, let's just plan on the upper side. If they're asking how much to reserve, if it's less than that, it's less than that. It doesn't cost you anything, but just trying to get it in the pipeline.
But it is 50/50?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else have any wise words of wisdom for him or ideas to get this thing rolling? Good, all right.
Okay.
Anything else, Matt?
No, it would be good probably if you send a letter though. Just
Okay, we will. Yep, we'll send it later. Stephen, you got any questions for him? You guys talk probably more than I do, so.
I already asked before the meeting.
Okay, appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank you.
do for us.
Yep.
Thank you, thanks.
Well, like I say, next meeting we'll have an agreement for the contract hopefully, and say in June, end of June, 1st of July, probably. Between now and then, we'll have schedule outlined so that we can get some notification out, but yeah.
Well, so that'll be the complete contract with them, with the added streets?
The agreement for the next council meeting will not, it will just be what they bid on.
Okay.
It'll be 242,000, I think is what it is. And then, once they sign that, we're not gonna wait for that, but we'll get them working on the estimate for the extra work.
And then do we have to approve that then at the next meeting?
That'd be a change order, and TID wants to approve that before you guys approve it,
Okay.
because they wanna make sure they're gonna pay for it.
Okay.
We tell them to do it, so.
All right,
Yeah.
Okay,
thanks, drive safely.
all right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. You're up, chief.
Reference the airport runway lights, there was some controversy a while back about whether city employees could do it or we needed to hire a contractor and so forth. We've gotten 3 bids, 2 of them are from Daryl here in town. One was if he rented a backhoe to dig the trenches. The other one is if Stephen can help him with that. And the low bid came in from him at about 11,000 and change. It's under $12,000.
Sorry, nothing, I lost you for a second, go ahead.
And the high bid came in from an outfit in Spokane at $79,000.
Well,
So what I'm asking the council for is to approve spending the low bid from Darrell to get the runway lights finished. We have the money in the airport account to do that. I just need your approval to spend it, hire him and get it done.
Make a motion that we go ahead and approve
Yeah,
those funds.
Did you say you made a motion?
I made a motion to
Move.
approve those
I
funds.
second, Dave second. Any more discussion?
It's under 12,000, 11 and
Okay,
change.
any discussion?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Well,
That wipes you out, huh?
Getting closer. By the way, just for those who are interested, the paving contractor will be out there tomorrow. The runway will be shut down. They're gonna put the final coat of paint on all the runway markings.
Thank you. Good job, Mike. Thanks for staying on top of that stuff. We're starting to get a little low on fuel out there. We're hedging our bets as to, there's a couple things at play. First of all, somebody else has got to buy fuel before we can buy fuel, because they aren't going to make a special trip for us. So,
No, they will make a special. trip.
oh, they will for
$8
like
is something.
$8 a gallon.
How much?
Yeah, we'll have to have armed guards and everything. So Pullman or one of the other airports around has got to order fuel in, and then we could pigtail onto that and get it down to a reasonable price. So I don't know why our airport guy didn't pull the trigger before the Iran thing, but I don't know. If you saw that crystal ball coming, you would have been way richer than that. Okay, all right, thanks, Mike. Building inspector fees, what do we got?
We're gonna postpone that for the next.
Okay. Okay, anybody seeing that in May? So, on May, I believe it's May 18th.
It's that Monday.
It's a Monday, it's a meeting day.
Yeah.
It's a meeting day. There's gonna be a small city connectors hosted up at the, community center. You can, get online and find it, RSVP please, so that they know how many, to prepare for. It's lunch. Starts, I believe it starts like at 10:30. And then it'll be done probably by 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And, I can't recall what the agenda is at this point, but I would encourage you all to be there. Okay. They're looking for, they've never been here, or at least since I can remember. So actually, there was a thing when John was mayor at the city hall and, or we were at the feeding station, and I think it was about, they were at that point about the legalization of marijuana.
Oh,
Was what the
that.
discussion was. Now that triggers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fairly insightful conversation. So anyway,
What's the topic for this one?
yeah, it's like, I think they're gonna go over how to run meetings. There's gonna be some stuff like, you
I don't
know,
ever think I saw that.
yeah, I think I did, but it's not, it's more or less Robert's rules and type of thing because, anyway. So, you can, when you get online to sign in, you can probably see what the agenda is. So, I'm gonna encourage dead time so that our coffee shops and people can take advantage of captive audience. We'll put barricades at the end to keep them in there. So, okay.
Now, you said that's gonna be the 11th, is that?
No, 18th.
Oh,
18th, it's a Monday, I believe. It's a meeting day. So, announcements and reports. We are in line to, Kevin's committed to spray mosquitoes to get started at least. Kevin got online, found out some information. We're gonna approach the job a little bit different. We're gonna hit it 3 times a week for a couple weeks.
Okay.
And
Nothing to do about it.
after dark, we'll try to make sure. I mean, ideally, it would be every day.
You gonna do it during the night, though, requested during the night?
Yes,
So you
of
said
course,
after dark.
of course. Found out some interesting things. The mosquitoes, the females' life cycle is 2 weeks. Male cycle is a week.
Well, it's useless.
Well, you're right. And so there's some things that we can do in the meantime that might help your situation around your house. And one of them's making a, what they call mosquito bomb. And you buy these discs, you make a pot, 5-gallon bucket, throw some leaves, throw some grass, throw some water in there, let it ferment for a couple days. Drop a portion of this disc in, and then the mosquitoes come in there and lay their larva. And the disc is specifically towards the larva. That's all it kills. Now they say, make sure, put some sort of a top over it so that just critters can't dive in there, or kids or whatever, but make a pretty wide wire type of gate to go over the top. But it takes, so if you do the math, if the female mosquito is going lives 2 weeks. So you're not gonna see a noticeable difference in knockdown for 2 weeks. But it will kill just the larva.
I have the electronic one, that zapper, that knocks out a log.
Yeah, well, but until you control the eggs, you're just killing the live ones.
Right.
So we're gonna get on it. Kevin's back. JJ has already probably started his studying to go get it for himself, and then he will take the handoff off of Kevin.
That's good.
So he's worked out very well. Does a good job. But anyway, I was gonna hit him up today, make sure he came here tonight so we could all meet him, but we'll make him sweat for another couple of weeks. So, I can't think of any other things that I'll tell you, I went to Inland Northwest Partners, and they were talking about social media and scared the crap out of me. Because everybody the people that were there were talking about all the advantages, because they're business type of people. Yeah, you want to stir the pot, you want to get as many hits as possible. And the port was doing cleanup. They got up and said, absolutely not as an elected official, because if I go on social media, that is a public records.
Yeah.
And there's a new law coming down the pike for towns under 5,000. I think it happens later than the one that happens over 5,000. But I may have the numbers mixed up. So it's federal, but it talks just about public records as social media, and quite interesting, quite interesting, really, and scared the crap out of me. So I don't partake much anyway, but it really solidified that. So
I know that we used to put out press releases where I was telling people to brief and be honest. Whatever.
right,
Make sure you
right.
tell the truth. You don't know it, you say you don't know it. Because people get into all kinds of trouble with that.
Right. And so anyway, Kendra, you got anything for us as a staff?
I just, I attended a procurement workshop, and it was very interesting. So you pretty much, they talked like you have to get a bid practically for pencils. So it was very interesting though. And then I put in your packet the current budget position for all the funds. Everything looks fine. We need to move some money. I'll do that next time for the streets and roads. We're kind of over budget on that, but we transferred 35,000 from the general fund to the street fund. So that should help with that. And everything else is looking pretty good. And I don't know if you have any questions.
So Kenda, on the end, the spent, you have all the numbers, and then where it says the percentages. So does that mean we've spent those percentages? So 76, 94%, 53% of those, we've already spent them?
No, because there's 674,000 budgeted. And we've only spent 158, so there's 76% left.
Okay, yeah, just because it says spent above there, so that kind of threw me off.
That's how much it's spent, that amount of money, but the 76% is how much is left.
So like down the ones on the bottom where it says 100%, well, and of course.
Yeah, because none of
those are
Yep.
proprietary, but
Yep,
that's 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I do.
Is that it, man? That's all you got?
Yep.
Okay,
It's like-
great, great. Reed, you got anything?
Yeah, I do. My running around for the last 20 years with the state and everything. And here's, some people are gonna be mad at me, but we're gonna have to go through this. When I go out to a community and they get a new board president, new mayor, whatever, the new mayor doesn't know what to do. And so he has to have training at board presidents. And Steve's gonna have to start this in a couple of years. He just passed this test, so he's gonna have to get training. And so those are costs that the city's gonna have to start looking at. And so my philosophy was an unknowledgeable mayor or board president is useless. And so I am asking the city to kind of look at it, because this is what I recommend to a lot of different places, that you budget training. And I know we're in conflict with that a lot. And I always suggest anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a year. So we've got to go, because new things are always coming down the pike. And then what we're going to be doing with a new sewer plant is probably going to be extra travels for council members, mayors, or whatever it may be. And then the election's coming up again, 27, and you might even have a new mayor. So you're going to have to start all over again. And so I'm recommended when we start doing our budgets that we need to put money aside to do this type of training. And I recommend that it should be anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 a year. That's pretty much average.
Think about for mayor or all the,
For now, for this year, we had nothing in it. And so I don't know, Kendall will just scrape by. She knows how to get money. And so.
There you go.
so I'm confused, are you talking about the same budget we were talking earlier when we talked about Roy's situation, or?
Yeah, this involves that.
Because you were the one
I
who
know.
set it at 500 and
I know,
then
'cause that's what we
750,
had.
and so now you're suggesting.
No,
Okay.
all I'm saying is we
confused.
need to look at it,
Okay.
because these are the problems that a lot of communities have that they face, because you even get some mayors that won't even do anything.
Can we bring it up for discussion on one of our agendas soon, so that everybody can throw their 2 cents worth in?
It's something you're gonna have to look at.
Well, yeah, I'd like
So
to
let's
be on
put it
the
on
agenda
the-
so we can have an open discussion,
Yeah.
rather than a comments period.
And I know I'm against some things, but I know I'm gonna make some people mad, but this is what my travels around, this is what I recommend in the end, that you have some kind of a budget organized where these people can get trained.
This is for everybody.
It goes for council members, mayors, clerks, whatever it may be. You need to have some kind of training budget.
Well, don't we already have a training budget like for you,
Yeah.
to some degree for,
Yeah.
for you guys to do?
Well, like the clerk's training is 1,500,
See, that's not enough.
but I just signed up for a thing for the annual report, because you guys wanted Eliza to have that looked at. So that's $1,000, so I'm gonna be over budget because
We had approved some extra money for that for last year.
Can we put this on the agenda rather than a discussion?
It
and
needs to
comments
be
period?
discussed, because he's gonna have to go to more meetings. I know we're conflicting, I think, but this is what I recommend to a lot of communities that they do.
What are the sizes of your communities?
Pardon?
What's the population of all the other communities?
Anything less than 10,000.
Over.
No, over, I never went to those.
Oh.
I was, by the USDA, I was to attend 10,000 and under. And I covered all the whole state.
You were servicing cities who couldn't hire their own sewer and water operators.
Now, their mayors were certified operators in some places.
Oh, I don't think so.
And so,
I don't know what road you're going down there.
And I know this is what we're facing, because I just walked today and conflict, and I'm kind of whining on both sides. But in all reality, the world is different today than it was 10 years ago. And the training has to be done. And so I think as a city council, we all need to get together you come up with a figure. I'm throwing out the figure that I throw out, and you guys can do what you want to do.
Okay, Sean?
I do have some things. The first thing is the UCA, the Upper Columbia Academy, and I believe, is it May 6th? Is that the day doing that?
Yeah, I believe that's the date. Is that what I think that's what I.
For some reason, I've lost track of where it is in all my
I'll see if I can find it.
So I have talked to Richie several times. Thank you, Roy sent me this information. And I believe we have 7 people that have reached out to us, and that's not counting the suggestion to clean up felled trees that are around. And so Richie emailed me today and asked what the priority, because I don't know if he'll be able, he didn't know if he would have the numbers to get to all 7 projects or not. So
if I get it right, they're gonna be at our place for half a day and Roselia for the other half.
right, that's what they were planning to do this time. So I'm just waiting. Somebody that's key to it is out of town on some kind of event with some other students. So I'm hoping that by next week or so, we'll kind of know for sure where they'll all go. I talked to Kenda about would they be able to, would you guys be able to provide water, donuts, whatever you did before for them when they come? Because I probably won't be available. Marge will probably be available that day to be around, because I'll be taking the 18th off to go to that other event, so I probably won't take that day off. But Marge will.
Yeah.
And you'll be around, right? Or not?
I don't know how that conflicts with going to Wenatchee.
Oh, okay. When is your event?
I don't know if it's the 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th.
It's Tuesday and Wednesday.
Is it Tuesday and
I was
Wednesday?
like, this is the 6th, wasn't it? I think the 6th was the Wednesday.
So,
All right, well, we've got some, most of them are like, for the most part, they're people that really could use help with a yard project of some kind. So hopefully they'd be able to get quite a few of them knocked out if they're kind of pointed projects.
I know they got restrictions about where they go. You know, I mean, there's things that they won't do. And, you know, we've got a vacant building up on Main Street, that the mansion, that is gonna be just crazy here in about another 2 weeks as far as being a mess.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, I mean, and I'm trying not to get into personal, trying not to get into somebody's private stuff, but like I say, that's gonna be a mess, and then it's always gonna be a mess.
Isn't it empty now?
But you would still have to have an owner's permission to go on there. We found that out the hard way
Right.
one time with the school.
Right.
So, and at this point, I don't think we can really, anything else at this point that would come up would have to go into a waiting list for the next time. Or we could really look into the community, see if maybe we could come up with some people to do volunteer to come in. Okay, so that's on task, that's going forward. I have 3 things I'll go, 2 more. So the second thing is, I'm proud of Tekoa. There's so many great things that really show the best of our people. One was that, I think this was already mentioned, the fundraiser for Sean McCurdy. His surgery's coming up next week. And just love that, how we might be very much like a family that sort of throws some punches once in a while or gives each other a hard time, and we have our rough patches. But when it really comes down to helping each other through, we really shine, and I love that about Tekoa. And the other is, like, a lot of you know that we are dealing with a lot of crap at the school, literally. The grade school has, the sewer system got backed up, and so we had 3 days last week up there that the kids at the elementary school weren't even able to come to school. Today we had our first trial run. Unfortunately, what they thought was fixed on Friday, they found another problem, and now today we're being told that there's a part. So we are still, it's gonna be at least Wednesday before they're able to fix it. And then I'm just hoping the part's not out in the ocean somewhere on some liner that can't get in here. But really, I know we had the guys from the city came and helped cut the concrete. There's just a lot of people juggle. Roy had to do lunch bus today. I don't know how much we had a lot of kids crammed on that bus. And if you don't sit down quick when Roy is driving, he's moving along. So that was great. But anyway, I'm just really proud. I know there's other projects going on, kind of with the golf course, even supporting Oakdale with having play at the theater, and some of our kids are involved in the fundraiser for them the other night. So Tekoa's just doing a great job with a lot of things. And then the last thing I want to bring up is something that I want to throw out there, maybe to put on a further agenda, but whether a committee would be involved or not. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I'll say that this is brought to me at least once a month for the last 1.5 to 2 years by citizens out in the town, and that is, are our legal needs for TECO adequately being met right now? And I think that we need to really look at what options are out there, including what we already have. And I really appreciate, Eric's done a lot of creative things financially and stuff to make things work, but our needs have grown. I believe when we had Jennifer Robinson here, she really talked about, and of course that is something that hamstrings small towns, is that we probably need more and more legal support. Thankfully, there is MRSC. So kind of looking around at some of the things out there, first of all, the process would be, if we did get to this, I don't know if there's a contract or if there's a timing on that. Is there a contract that gets renewed?
We probably don't sign a contract every year. I think it's probably something that we probably should address better than we do. So if I had good legal counsel, he would make sure. He would make sure we got that done, right?
So just some thoughts. Again, maybe the council will decide we are good with what we are. I do think that, and it's not just with, I know it's unfortunate for Eric being called out and we appreciate his service. But there's just been things that are growing and we might talk about kicking the can down the road, and sometimes it is because maybe we need some more precise legal advice. So the process is, it is the mayor's prerogative to bring and choose who he would want to represent us, a city attorney. However, like with the city clerk, it has to have an approval of a majority vote of the council to approve the person. So looking around, like Colfax, there's a firm down there and there's a gal they just brought on this year, and she has a lot of experience like in municipality, and I noticed most of the cities have somebody that has a lot of land use, real estate knowledge, which is zoning knowledge when it comes to that. So there's that. MRSC has a list of attorneys, and I noticed I didn't dig real deep into it, but they had recommendations for Eastern Washington towns. And then, a recommendation, I know it could be pricey, but many of us are familiar with Oscar Ray. He worked with MRSC for a number of years, and he also did some of the training for those of us who were new on council. We went up to Airway Heights. He was one of the speakers. He's now with a firm over in the Seattle area, and they are starting to do some Eastern Washington. The thing about Oscar, if his firm, it's not his firm, but the firm he works for now, that would be really incredible is, one, he is very, very well versed in second class cities. And there was a whole article in the Seattle Times about him when he retired from or left MRSC and he went back into practice, and that his reason for going back is because he just really learned that what small towns need, and especially second class cities, and he wanted to get back boots on the ground to help with that.
Would you be willing to bring all that?
I'd like to finish what I'm saying.
I'm just asking if you'd be willing to bring it for an agenda.
Sure, I will, but I'd like because there's a thought here I have for Roy, but, and then like the other thing with that is that in his firm, because I talked to him when we got to the union, so there is a gal that deals with union things. There would be Oscar with his knowledge. And then they had some people that really deal with zoning and real estate. So if this is something that the council would like to go forward with, I don't know if, Roy, you on your own want to research it. Maybe you would allow me and a couple of council members to have a committee to present to you some ideas along with all your contacts. And I mean, you probably have contacts with people and maybe talking to the court. And I know Carl really loves the attorney, but I think they read way out of our league financially, but the court has a fantastic attorney. And maybe you, with your mayor's places and stuff, could talk about the options, and maybe it'll come down to nothing. So I just kind of wanted to ask Roy how if he's willing to pursue this. I don't think I'm the first person to bring this up to you.
No, I've heard comments. Just for instance, I'm not going to name cities, but I know one city has recently gone to an attorney. They've switched out of whatever they were doing, and it's $250 an hour when you talk to her. I know another city, their attorney's budget for the year is $25,000, and they are no bigger than we are.
Yep.
I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, if we think that that's our need, and the one that's 25 grand, they don't even live there. They're in Seattle. So everything is Zoomed.
And that might, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where you would get $20,000 worth of difference, but it's certainly something we can explore. Okay?
So is it okay if I bring some suggestions, or would you just like to, would you want a committee from us, or would you just like to go on your own? I think I will still give you at least a few of the people.
Yeah,
Like I said,
find out some
and
information.
you know, it's really easy to just say we can't afford it, but maybe at what point can we not afford it? You know, if we keep running up against things that we're just stalling out, or we're spending money over and over on things. So at least it's worth looking into, and then if it's just truly cost prohibitive, or, you know, we have to bring something to the west side and that's just too much to do.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
I'm done.
Okay, Pete?
Couple things. One, that OCL thing, the dinner and theater, I thought was quite good for the town. A lot of people attended. I thought it was very good. Guys missed out. That meal was excellent. Two, we're getting our demonstration signs up. One, put a couple up. We have one in the Veterans Park, and also then at Gymkhana, where those were there.
Those look really good.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah.
I really like them. They're coming along. We gotta see if they'll hold up with the weather as you're supposed to. So if they do, then we'll move forward on. So that's gonna happen. And lastly, I'm working on a celebration related to the Police the Cascades Trail. That would be the 25th of July. It's kind of a celebration. It'd be a combination of cyclists, maybe some races, even some walking races. We'll have to see how that all goes. Involve the business community, so we can see a number of things involved in the chamber. So it's early yet, but it's a start to see what we can do to utilize that resource as a starting for the town. And I'm hoping that by doing this, you get people not only doing that, but they come downtown. That's the whole idea, is to get them to participate, and then they come downtown. So we'll have to see on that. So that's the 25th of July, that's a Saturday. And we'll see. So it's early yet. There's always things that knock you off, but that's what we're planning on. And yeah, it's gonna be good. I hope it's gonna be good.
Okay. No, you've already,
I've said my 4.5 cents.
everything. Margie, got anything?
I guess, does anybody know when the pizza place is gonna open up?
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
There was a picture of them testing some pizzas, so.
I haven't seen any pictures, but I thought, I'm really looking forward to it.
They were hoping this,
Forward his money allows,
Is he?
and he's working with his landlord so that he can get it up to speed, but it's kind of a cash and carry basis for him. So I'm within a month, he's gonna be open. He's just gonna have it paid for before he does.
they're our neighbors,
Oh, are they?
and they were hoping this spring, but they had setbacks after setbacks,
Well,
and
it looks
so.
like they've done.
But they've been down there just about every weekend, and
Fantastic.
family members and everything, and changing the floors, the painting, and the new ovens, and so it's, they're getting there.
All right. Thanks. Any other public comments from the audience? Oh, got 3 minutes, sir? I will time you.
I'll have to sign into, I'll do it when I'm done.
Okay.
Some of you might have heard me chuckle when the word badgering came up a little while ago. I couldn't contain myself. I mean, I think I did pretty good, actually. I just let out one little chuckle. If there's anyone in this room that's guilty of badgering, it's you, Shelley. You continually badger the mayor.
Hey,
This is my time. This is my time, Pete.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, I know,
This
yeah,
is
we're
my
sitting
time.
in visual memory.
As long as I'm not being disruptive,
No,
read about it. Read
That's
up on it.
okay, go ahead, for it, it's actually the gift that keeps giving, go ahead.
So, anyway, you badger the mayor continually, and he could say the sky is blue, and you would argue with him and say it's too expensive to call it blue. And I had to chuckle at that when you said badgering, when you're the one that does the most badgering in these meetings, and it's continually, it's every meeting here, you're continually badgering.
So if anyone's guilty of it, it's you. It's a pot calling the kettle black. I'm gonna just remind you of this. Back in November, most of the voters did not vote for you. Most of the voters for your position did not vote for you. They wanted someone other than you.
Yeah,
But she won.
Okay,
just a pity party just
All
going
right.
on here.
okay, thank you, Steve.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, Brad, you're up.
Quick question. Did I miss it, or did you guys not cover the union contract?
We did not approach it tonight. We did not.
Oh.
You guys don't have anything on it, right, Pete?
Well, the only thing we can mention that we've had meetings and we put in our positions, and it's with our negotiator, and he's contacting at some point soon with Jimmy, the other union rep. So that's that process. We're doing is go as fast as we can, but it is slow because as we all know, we thought it'd be much faster, but we have done all we can do. We're waiting now with our negotiator, and then once he's comfortable with how it all looks as far as informed, and then it'll go to the union and they'll look at it, and then that's the next phase. We hope it'll be sooner. We'd like to get this resolved as quickly as we can. So that's where we are. So we have not done what we can. Shelley, do you have anything else that you want to add to that?
No, we're just waiting. We've done our part, and we're just waiting for them to get back and set up the next meeting with us.
All right. So at this point, anybody else got anything? I'm sorry. Anybody else? Go to 3.
I do, but
You can come up twice. Keep her to 3 and
Well, actually, they get 3 minutes per meeting.
I kind of,
Go ahead.
well, because it's about the property that I have, but
you can say whatever you want, ma'am. We
It's not-
won't respond, but you can say whatever you want.
no, but it was a thing that it wasn't being worked on, but it was.
Okay,
So,
that's Brown. This is Brown. The 5th.
and like
Sure.
I said, we're leaving, we're just gonna leave. So I'm just asking the city to be patient,
Okay,
because we did a lot of improvements on it, and there's stuff you can't see from the front. But we did put in the sewer, the water, we've had the dirt so we can level it out, put in. This guy came over to try to level out the dirt, but it was frozen, so we just sat there.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we've been getting it leveled out, we just got the last load of dirt put in, and had a guy in Latah that was going to level that out so we could. It's just the trouble's been finding a place for disabled people, right on the ground floor. 'Cause my husband, like I said, just had total knee replacement.
Mhm.
Which is why I missed a lot of things, so it's in and out of town, in and out of town. I'm just tired of it now. We need to get into town, I can't do the drive anymore.
gotcha.
I have MS and diabetes and other things, like brittle diabetes.
Okay.
So I'm just asking,
Call the office and
yeah,
arrange a time when we can talk, okay?
okay.
Yep.
All
Does
right,
that work?
yeah,
Okay, great.
all right, thanks.
I don't think that's a dialogue, but, okay. All right, this point, pay the bills,
I'll make a motion to approve vouchers and claims.
I will second that.
second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Our motion that we adjourn.
Okay, it's been moved, Dan,
Second.
Mike seconded, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Great.
I know, that's what.
Thanks, David.
Yeah.